This video was made possible thanks to CuriosityStream. Watch TLDR ad-free and get exclusive videos from us by signing up to the CuriosityStream Nebula Bundle deal at curiositystream.com/TLDRUK. Obviously, we've all seen the horror of the Russian invasion of Ukraine in the last few days. We've all seen the pictures of men and boys being separated from their families to defend Kiev, and the indiscriminate shelling of civilian targets in Kharkiv. As you'd expect, ordinary Ukrainians have been fleeing westwards into the rest of Europe. So in this video, we thought it'd be a good idea to look at what support our country is offering to those fleeing the violence in Ukraine. So it's first worth looking at the generic rules about asylum and refugees and whether people in Ukraine could use them, and if not, what other procedures could be used to be provided protection and to be given permission to remain in the UK. In essence, there are three ways that someone from Ukraine could now come to the UK: as a refugee, via a family visa, and via a visitor visa. Let's look at each of these and what the government has done. Firstly, the UK is a signatory of the 1951 Refugee Convention, meaning that the UK has a legal obligation to provide a place of asylum to those fleeing war or persecution. Now, the thing with this is that usually to apply for asylum you need to either be on the UK border or having already entered the UK at an asylum screening unit. As an island, this means that asylum seekers need to cross the Channel, which, as we all know, is pretty dangerous. The second route that can be taken is using a family visa. Obviously, this is more restrictive than just applying as a refugee, because only people with a connection to the UK are able to apply. It's also worth mentioning that this visa isn't free. The minimum fee is £1,033, and this figure can rise significantly depending on circumstance. Family visas also usually take around 12 weeks to be processed, although the applicant can pay an additional £800 for the super priority service, which takes 1 working day. There is also a minimum earning requirement. For partners, the minimum earning requirement between the two of you is £18,600 per year, and this goes up if you have children. And in some situations, the applicant will also need to prove that they can speak English. You get the point. Family visas are complicated and difficult. To improve access for Ukrainians fleeing the Russian invasion, the government has since made this free and widened the scope of who counts as a family connection. For example, whereas before adult children wouldn't be eligible for a family visa, they now are, as are siblings and grandparents. The thing is though, it still requires people to have some form of family connection in the UK. It's also worth noting that, at the time of writing, despite hinting that they might be flexible about it, the government has not officially waived the minimum earning or language requirements, meaning that Ukrainians trying to enter the UK who have family or partners here may still be turned away just because they don't earn enough or they don't speak English. All in all, while family visas are now free, Ukrainians still need a specific family connection in the UK, and in some cases will be subject to earning and language requirements. For most Ukrainians, therefore, the only option will be the third option, a standard visitor visa. Officially, this route is for people visiting to see friends or as a tourist. It costs £95 for 6 months, and it can take a few weeks to be processed. Worse still, the route isn't intended for people fleeing war, and this isn't actually a valid reason. Applicants need to show where and how they'll get home after 6 months, and obviously this isn't really an option for most Ukrainians. It's easy to see why this isn't ideal. In summary, none of these routes described are ideal for Ukrainian refugees. So what can the government do instead? One way to make things easier for Ukrainians is to introduce a humanitarian visa, which would allow people to travel to the UK and then claim asylum on arrival. This way, people would be able to come to the UK in a safe way, instead of having to try and cross the Channel, and have their asylum application reviewed once they arrive. Unfortunately for Ukrainians, this looks unlikely. The government has taken a rather strict approach to asylum and immigration. Just look at the Nationality and Borders Bill, and rejected the idea of humanitarian visas when they were first suggested back in November after 27 people died crossing the Channel. The government has, though, tried over the weekend to argue that they have been offering support to Ukrainians, with Johnson saying that the UK wouldn't turn our backs in Ukraine's hour of need. There were even some rather frosty exchanges between the government and the opposition over just this. Firstly, David Lammy, Shadow Foreign Secretary, tweeted that it is totally immoral that the Home Office is still applying normal visa restrictions to those fleeing Ukraine. The Home Secretary, Priti Patel, replied to this, claiming that it was appalling misinformation at a time of international crisis. Now, to be fair, there is a bit of nuance to this. David Lammy is right that most of the normal visa restrictions apply, such as earning requirements, the requirement to have a connection to the UK, etc. But, as we mentioned earlier, family visas are now free for Ukrainians, and the government has suggested that they may still accept applicants that don't meet the usual income and language requirements. This argument between Patel and Lammy lasted only a couple more tweets, and ended with Patel refusing to answer why she hadn't dropped the connection requirement. In another, rather bizarre exchange, Labour MP Luke Pollard raised the point about how people in Ukraine couldn't come to the UK if they didn't have a family link. Kevin Foster, the Minister for Safe and Legal Migration at the Home Office, replied stating that the family route existed and other people could apply for a visa through the Seasonal Worker Scheme. Now, again, to be clear, the Seasonal Worker Scheme does exist, but it doesn't really work for Ukrainian refugees. It's mainly used by people who want to come and pick fruit and vegetables, costs £244, can take up to 3 weeks, and requires an offer for a job in the UK. This was then a less than useful suggestion by Foster. So, despite the Home Office's virtue signalling on Twitter, it just doesn't seem like they've actually provided a huge amount of concessions to make it easier for those who want to leave Ukraine to actually do so. For their part, while Labour have called for the family visa criteria to be widened, they've refused to back the open door policy adopted by the EU. This stands in contrast to countries like Ireland, who've recently announced that they've waived all visa requirements for Ukrainian nationals. Obviously, this situation is evolving, and the government may well relax visa requirements completely an hour after this video goes out. And if this does happen, we'll let you know in the description below. But as things stand, Ukrainians just don't have many routes to come to the UK. You, though, can help them by donating to one of the charities linked in the description below. It's not just the handling of refugees, which is a pressing topic for the UK and countries around the world. There's also the economic fallout of this crisis. There's a lot of speculation about what all this means for the rest of the world, the potential of rising inflation, and even fuel and food insecurity. So we made a companion video to this one, which looks at the theorised impact of the global economy, and that video is available exclusively on Nebula, the streaming service my creator friends and I have teamed up to build, where we don't need to worry about demonetization or the algorithm. Over there you can find all our latest videos ad-free, and we're going to start posting exclusive Nebula Plus videos over there too, with our first one already live. It's not just us either. All of our favourite educational creators are already there, like Wendover Productions, Real Life Law, Polymatter, Legal, Half as Interesting, and many more. But wait, we said this video was brought to you by CuriosityStream, right? Well, as a platform full of the best documentaries online, they naturally love educational creators like us. As such, we've worked out a deal whereby if you sign up for CuriosityStream using the link in the description, you'll also get free access to Nebula. That's not just a trial either, you'll get access for as long as you're a member. To make things even better, for a limited time, they're offering a deal where you can get 26% off their already low price, making an entire year of both services less than $15. Less than $15 a year for all your favourite educational creators, as well as superb documentaries on CuriosityStream. Signing up at curiositystream.com/TLDR Global or clicking the link below not only gets you the deal, but also directly supports TLDR and educational content on the platform more generally, as well as getting you original content and an ad-free experience.